It started with footsteps outside my quiet apartment. Now it has my face. My neighbor Zora's key is still on my kitchen counter. She left it under my mat 3 days ago with a note that just said, "Feed Caspian." Caspian is her fat ginger cat. This morning, her sister called me, hysterical, saying the police found Zora's car on a highway shoulder in Utah, engine cold, doors wide open. Zora wouldn't just leave her cat. She was the one who first asked me about the noise. She caught me by the mailboxes a few weeks back, her eyes all shadow. She asked if I'd been hearing it too, a sound, late at night, a kind of wet, dragging sound. I live in one of those cheap, forgotten apartment blocks at the dead end of a logging road, the kind of place you end up when you're starting over or running from something. Our buildings are pressed right up against a thick wall of dark pine woods, separated only by a cheap fence and a cracked strip of pavement. It was always quiet. Dead quiet. Until it wasn't. The sound started for me about a month ago, always after 2 a.m. It wasn't footsteps. It was a rhythmic thump, scrape, like someone was dragging a heavy, waterlogged bag of laundry across the asphalt. It would always start down by the dumpsters, move slowly along the path, and then stop directly under my bedroom window. And it would just sit there, right below me, for 10, maybe 20 minutes, a heavy, wet stillness. Then the dragging would start again, moving away until it faded near the fence to the woods. After Zora asked me about it, I couldn't ignore it anymore. Impossibly tall and thin, like a charcoal sketch someone had stretched vertically. The joints in its arms and legs seemed wrong, bent at angles that made my own limbs ache in sympathy. It was bald, its skin a pale, almost luminous gray in the chemical yellow light. It just stood there, head cocked, listening to the woods. Then the light clicked off. It was gone. I didn't see it leave. It was just gone. My heart was a fist in my throat. I tried to rationalize. Sleep deprivation, but the image was burned into my head, the wrongness of its posture. The next day, Zora was gone. That's when things got personal. I started leaving my phone on my windowsill, recording audio when I went to sleep. I just needed to prove to myself I wasn't losing it. A long, sibilant hiss that sounded like air leaking from a punctured tire. I couldn't make out words, but the cadence felt familiar. It sounded like it was trying to say my name over and over. My tomato plant had been pulled out and shoved back into the soil, but upside down. The roots were reaching for the sky like pale, skeletal fingers. Tangled in them was a single, long gray hair. I called the building manager, a useless guy named Mr. Petrescu. He told me it was probably teenagers. They do stupid things, he said. I don't think he believed me. I don't think I would believe me. Then came the knocking. Midnight. I was watching some dumb show on my laptop when I heard it. Not a normal knock. 3 slow, measured raps on my front door. So soft I almost missed them. I held my breath. My apartment is at the end of the hall. No one ever comes down here by mistake. I crept to the door and looked through the peephole. Nothing. Just the empty, buzzing hallway. But I could hear breathing. It was ragged and wet, right on the other side of the door. It wasn't the steady in and out of a human. It was a conscious imitation of it. A forced, gurgling inhale, a long pause, then a rattling exhale. It was performing breathing for me. I backed away from the door, my phone clutched in a white-knuckle grip, ready to dial 911. The breathing stopped. I heard a faint scratching at the bottom of the door, then silence. That was the day Zora's sister called. The day I realized Zora hadn't moved out. She had fled. I used her key to check on Caspian. Her apartment was a mess. A half-packed box sat on the floor, clothes spilling out. A glass of water was on her nightstand. She left in a hurry. I found Caspian huddled under her bed, fur on end, hissing at the empty room. I brought him back to my place. I couldn't leave him there. Last night was the worst. I fell asleep on the couch with Caspian curled on my chest, his purring a small comfort in the crushing silence. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to a sound. Humming. It was a quiet, off-key melody. A nursery rhyme my mother used to sing to me. A song no one else would know. I sat bolt upright, dislodging the cat. The humming was coming from my bedroom window. My apartment is on the 2nd floor. My blood went cold. Every instinct screamed at me to stay put, to hide, to pretend I would. But the song, that song, pulled me to my feet. I crept down the short hall to my bedroom door, my body shaking. The humming was louder in here, thin and reedy. I looked at the window. Pressed against the glass was a face. Pale and gray, with wide, dark eyes that were an exact copy of my own. It had my cheekbones, my nose. It was wearing my face like a poorly fitted mask. Its mouth hung open in a loose oval, the jaw slack, and from that gaping hole came the tuneless humming. It saw me. Its eyes locked on mine, and the humming stopped. Its expression didn't change, but it mirrored the shock and terror on my own face perfectly, a flawless, instantaneous reflection of my soul-deep horror. Then, its lips pulled back from its teeth into a smile so wide it looked like the skin at the corners of its mouth would tear. I stumbled back, hit the wall, and slid to the floor. I squeezed my eyes shut, gasping, waiting for the glass to break. When I dared to look again, it was gone. I'm writing this from my bathroom floor. I have the door locked and a towel jammed underneath it. Caspian is in here with me, a trembling ball of fur in the sink. I can't stop shaking. An hour ago, the dragging sound started again, but it's not coming from the pavement outside. It's on the roof. A slow, wet thump, scrape, directly above my head. It's been pacing back and forth up there for what feels like an eternity. Every few minutes, it stops, right over the bathroom. And I swear to God, I just heard a tap, not on the window, on the ceiling.